Hey everybody, welcome back to Guys Night Lab. I'm Jesus, and welcome to another edition of Halloween Nights. Today we're going to be talking about a little movie from Wes Craven called The People Under the Stairs. The People Under the Stairs is one of my favorite movies, and it was one of my favorite movies as a kid. It came out in 1991. It's from Wes Craven, sorry, and it stars a lot of great characters that you kind of are familiar with or not. But it has the main character is a kid named Fu. I think he's not Fu, Full. I think in the movie he's probably maybe like 12, anywhere between like 10. No, he's probably like 12 to 14. But he's a kid, and you would recognize him. He's from he was from Mighty Ducks, The Sandlot. What else was he in? He was in Moonwalker. Yeah, those would be like the main things. You would recognize his face and be like, oh yeah, I know him from Mighty Ducks and Sandlot. But he kind of dropped off, didn't do anything past that. I mean, he did other stuff, but not, super popular. Then there's Everett McGill. You would recognize him from Heartbreak Ridge, Silver Bullet, License to Kill. He just had, you'd recognize his face. Like there's a lot of people in here that you'd recognize their face and be like, okay, I know who that is. And then Sean Wallen plays Roach. He's known for Twister. He was in that. He's the guy in That Thing You Do, and he's like, you're a jerk, Todd. You're not funny, Todd. And he's like, oh, kick your, he's that guy. Or he was in Twisters. You might know him most popular from, I think he's the guy from the Aaron Burr commercials. Those of my younger subscribers might not know the Got Milk commercials from like the early mid 90s. There was there used to be these commercials for Got Milk, and he was the main guy. He's like, there was like a commercial, and it was like, oh, who killed this man? He was like the Aaron Burr like super fan, and he couldn't say it, and it was like, oh, Got Milk. And like that, yeah, that's what his like. I'm pretty sure it's that same guy, but yeah. So that's that was Sean Wallen. He plays Roach in this movie, and then Ving Rhames is in the movie. I mean, he's from Pulp Fiction, Baby Boy, Mission Impossible. I mean, it's Ving Rhames. He's pretty popular actor. If you don't know who he is, he's in a lot of things. Con Air, all those things. So, anyways. Kelly Jo Winter. She was in Summer School, Nightmare on Elm Street, House Party, and Bill Cobbs. He was in That Thing You Do as well, Demolition Man. You would know these actors. What makes People on the Stairs such a great movie is that it's just a awesome telling. So Wes Craven actually made this movie because he heard a story back, I think it was like 1978, where two African American men and two black guys broke into a house, and the idea is like, oh, it's kind of like a bad thing that they broke into the house and everything, but the people that broke into the house found that two children were being held captive in the house, so they were kind of heroes. It's a really interesting story. You should definitely check it out. The article, the story from what really happened. But in this movie, Full joins Ving Rhames. So Ving Rhames and his buddy go and they break into this into these people's homes. They're called Man and Woman, and they're trying to get money because they're saying like, hey, these people have a lot of money and we're in the projects. And that was one of the big things about this movie. It's not a black movie, but kind of, if you think of like Tales from the Hood, which I'm going to review later on next week, Tales from the Hood or People on the Stairs, or even like newer, black horror movies such as not Ving Rhames, Get Out or Us or whatever. This is one of like the, not first, but it was just like I said, not a black movie, but kind of, it was from Wes Craven. But it had to do with gentrification and satire and class warfare, capitalism, all this stuff. Now, I'm not saying anything about like capitalism or things like that, but just the gentrification of class warfare, where the ghetto, these people, mainly African American, people of color or whatever, are in this situation where the projects. It's 1991, so projects, the slums, they don't have a lot of money, and the man and women that the house when I say man and woman, that's the two characters from the movie that live in the house. That's their names that they go by. Men and women, they own those projects, they own these liquor stores, they own everything around where these people live that they can't afford and everything. So that's where they're breaking in to try to steal the money. That's not right. You should not break in and steal people's money because you're struggling and stuff like that. But in this movie, that's what they're doing. In a sense, you find out the man and woman who are white, but they're weird. They're crazy. They're brother and sister, but it's a really weird relationship. But anyways, you find out that they have all these money and they're actually being kind of sneaky with the money, and they're not, they're overcharging, and it's just like they're getting rich off the people when they shouldn't. So anyways, Fool goes and helps Ving Rhames' character, and they break into the man and woman's house, and then Fool gets stuck in there. Ving Rhames gets stuck in there. Long story short, they're kind of stuck in there and trying to like escape. Ving Rhames tries to escape, but he doesn't make it. They get him and they feed him to the people on their stairs, who are technically cannibals. But you find out later, and I don't want to spoil this because honestly, People on Their Stairs is kind of like a movie that's gone under the radar. A lot of people have not seen it, so I don't want to spoil it too much. But you realize that the people under the stairs, even though they are cannibals and they look kind of creepy and everything, they're not technically bad guys because they're actually kidnapped kids. So they're the kids that are being held captive. There's a daughter, Julie, that she's there, or sorry, not Judy, Alice. Her name's Alice. She's there, and she's like the only one that's not under the stairs. She's like living there, but she feels like man and woman are her mom and dad, but they're not. They've kidnapped her. So the whole movie revolves around Fool first trying to find the money and treasure that these people have been hoarding and stealing from people, and then it turns into him trying to escape the house because they've locked it and they're not letting him out, and they're the man and woman are really creepy and they're trying to kill him, and then it turns into Fool going back and then trying to save Alice. So it's a really fun movie. It's I don't know. I really like it. I watched it with my friends. They didn't like it. I don't know. I don't think it's a culture thing. Like it's not to say, oh, maybe you'll enjoy it more if you're black or Mexican or Hispanic or Japanese or whatever over if you were white. But I think it's great. It's not necessarily like and I've said this in my Candyman reviews and other movies where it's like, I'm not a big proponent or a big fan of like white versus black, division movies. But in this movie, it is yet white versus black, but the white people are so over the top crazy that it's like, it's not like necessarily like saying like this is how all white people are, but these white people in the movie are crazy. I mean, they're like extremely crazy. There's no politics about it. They're just insane. And I think that's what makes it work. Definitely a fun movie. I really do like it. And when I watched it as a kid, I really wanted to be Fool because it's like he really outsmarts them and really just kind of is the hero of the movie. But yes, definitely check out People on Their Stairs this month for Halloween nights and for Halloween seasons. It's a fun movie. Like I said, definitely went under the radar of Wes Craven's library of movies. But yes, from Guys Night Lab, I'm Jesus, and I recommend People Under the Stairs. All right, I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.
Hello, for $10,000. Excuse me? I'm afraid your time is almost up. I'm sorry, maybe next time.
Got milk?